Hello, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching us from. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome back to your Breaking Through community and your Breaking Through conversation. Of course, I am Marian, and I'm so glad you are here. Today, we are talking about something that affects every single one of us who is living on this planet Earth. Money, credit, and wealth. Because let's be honest, many of us came to this country, whether you're an immigrant, whether you even live here, with no handbook on how to understand the financial system, how to manage your finances. I know that there are books written, but many of us have a tough time doing that. That is why today's conversation is so important. Our topic is how to build credit and wealth through multiple streams of income. And our tagline is from credit to wealth, build your dream. And I am joined by an amazing person. I met her about 10 years ago. So I've known her for a little over a decade. And I was blown away when I first met her. And just having watched her career over the years, she's an amazing woman. And she's Dr. Himilde Hardy Pointer. Or today I'll be calling her, you hear me calling her Dr. P or Coach P. I love that. Who has a passion for helping people understand finances in very simple and practical ways. So grab your notebook, grab your iPhone, grab your iPad, wherever and however you can take the notes, because by the end of today, you will have tools to strengthen your credits, to increase your income, and to start building the life you've always envisioned. And so just help me to welcome her. But before we do that, you know the drill. The drill is tell us where you are joining us from and where your name. No, don't add your name. Just where you are joining us from. And hello, put an emoji in the chat so that we know you are here with us. And again, help me to welcome Dr. Himilde Pointer or Hardy Pointer or Pointer Hardy. I've been mixing it up, but Dr. P, welcome to this conversation. I'm so glad, and I'm thank you. I know you have a very busy schedule. I see all that you're doing, and so to take time out of your busy schedule to be with us is great. So let's start light. For those of you meeting you for the very first time, how would you describe yourself in very few words? And please add a fun fact. We love fun.
Okay, so about me, if anybody knows me, they'll know that I think the big thing about Humidity is she likes money. So I like money and I love to see people succeed. And over the years, those that have known me from back in Ghana, I'm from Ghana. My mom is from Liberia, but my father is from Ghana. So I did grow up in Ghana. And at every point in time, I was into something. I've dabbled in various industry. In Ghana, I dabbled in like marketing. I was head of marketing for Procter and Gamble. So I oversaw the marketing in the Ghana, Liberia area. I dabbled in telecommunications. So for those of you that were in Ghana, there was a company that came called I think Zane Telecom. We did the business simulations for that, and then we transitioned into building the call centers for them. Left that, and of course, where did I go? I've worked with Shell, so I've done oil and gas. I've done the movie industry, so acted a few movies. Partner with Shelley Frimpong. We did a few things with the Miss Ghana franchise and movies and all of that. And of course, I did electricity. So for some of you that still follow ECG, sometimes the other day I was in Ghana, I saw my picture still on the billboard and I look so sick. But of course, I helped set up the call center for Electricity Company of Ghana. And then I met a beautiful, handsome, bald-headed dude. Got married to him, and of course, didn't want to leave Ghana because you know how it is. You have the comfort. And he said, it's either you're coming for us to start popping those babies out, or the marriage is over. So, of course, I transitioned and came to the US. And coming to the US, of course, I went into financial services because I did my research and realized that, hey, I was already established in Ghana. So, coming to the US, I did not want to come and start all over. So, of course, coming, everybody's like, nursing, nursing, nursing. I was like, hell to the no, I'm not doing nursing. So, I did my research and I was like, where are the two industries that has all the millionaires? And financial services was number one, and technology was the second one. So, of course, went into financial services, worked on Wall Street for a number of years, worked in the Maryland area in the banking sector. And then, of course, I launched into opening my own business. So, I'm a business owner. I run a financial service brokerage firm. I own a cybersecurity company where we do government contracting. I am also into the real estate field, so we own a couple of rental property. Of course, I do coaching, I do public speaking as well. So, I dabble in quite a few industry. Fun fact about me, I work hard, but I play hard. I love to dance, and if you know me, there's always a party in my house.
Okay. All righty. Oh my goodness. I didn't know that part about your life. Actually,
Yeah.
you have to come back to really where we talk about, sometimes the stories and journeys. This one is more of skill building and information gathering. But I would love to have you on to hear that part of your story, Liberia, Ghana. Well, thank you. I think I'm an introvert, extrovert, or extrovert, introvert. I love having fun. So you're in good company. You're in very good company. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's start. Coach P, Dr. P, what exactly is credit? And why is it so important? And especially why is it so important in America for my audience and for immigrants, let's call it. Why is credit? What is it? And why is it so important?
Um, so every economy or every country has key things that makes it th and thrive. The US is a capitalist system, and in the capitalist system, of course, credit is key. So credit here in the US and in almost every area where it's a capitalist system, it's like your financial passport. So it's how the financial institutions can trust you. So it's how they measure how responsible you can handle opportunity. So credit is everything in the US. Everything you do in the US is credit. So from renting a house, you need to build that credit. So it's all about how can the financial institution trust you. So they use your credit to determine how trustworthy you are before they're able to give you certain opportunities.
So I'm hearing it's your passport, it's kind of your financial passport ish, and it's how trustworthy are you?
Mhm.
Okay. It's even making me not ask my next question. So for someone who, you know, for an immigrant, somebody, maybe I shouldn't be specific, somebody coming from Africa where credit, at least coming at the time that I was coming, credit was not a thing. You're
Mhm.
going to rent a house, you take your money 2 year rent advance or whatever it is, and then you come here, you don't have credit. So what do you do? I know we are going to talk about building your credit.
Mhm.
How do you even start to get this financial passport, this trustworthy passport or credibility passport?
Yeah. So to get this trustworthiness, of course, when you're new in town, nobody trusts you because nobody knows you. You would have to start taking initiative on your own. So, for example, you start with what we call a secured credit card, where maybe you would take 500,000 or 100, whatever amount it is, and give it to the banks. They're going to put it in an account and then give you a credit card. So then by using that credit card, you start to build your credit gradually. Also, for those of you that are renting, most people come, they'll start with renting. Once you're renting, you want to make sure that wherever you're renting, tell them to start reporting it to the credit bureau.
Mm.
So don't just get the house and rent it. So rent it and start building your credit through the credit bureau. And that can be another way you can start to build your credit. But if you don't do that and you're just here 10, 15 years and haven't built anything, it's going to be really difficult for you to get trusted and be able to get some of these opportunity to buy a house and all of those things. So you start by
Okay.
doing those initiatives, your
Okay.
credit card, and then maybe letting them report your rental.
Okay. So I know we are going to get into that meat of that.
Mhm.
So for those of you listening, credit is a good thing and
Oh,
it's building trust and credibility. Okay. Now, and I think you've explained why it's important in this America being a capitalist country, and the banks and other lenders would want to know whether you are creditworthy, you are trustworthy. Okay. So let's also define wealth and then we go into building the credit more. So when we talk about wealth, what does that really mean? And how is it different from just having money?
yeah, so there's something I said is I say money is income. It comes and it goes. Wealth is impact. So
Oh,
it stays and it multiplies even when you're not working. So money can go at any time, but wealth is when you've been able to not just own your money, but you've been able to put certain things in place that even when you're sleeping, that money is working for you and it's going to be passed on, not just you, not just your children, not just your grandchildren, but many, many, many generations to come. So currently, I think the yardstick is sixth generation because we use the Rockefellers. Now the Rockefellers' wealth is at sixth generation. So people are saying to be really wealthy, you have to put things in place that can go at least six generations and more.
wow.
Yes. So that would be what I would say about money. So usually the money is what you pay the bills and the wealth is what, you have those assets. Even your time could be a wealth. Time could be something we can also classify as wealth. Ownership, systems, all of those things are part of wealth. So money is just a subset of wealth. Yes. So
That is deep. That is that is deep. That is deep. So I'm hearing credit, that trustworthiness, money impact. Okay. Now let's begin.
wealth impacts. And then
Yes,
money is
credit.
income. Yes, wealth is impact.
Yes, so credit is trustworthiness, credibility. Then
Yeah.
the wealth is, sorry, did I say money? Wealth is that impact. And I'm hearing six generations. People, if anything is surprising you as Dr. P is speaking, put it in the chat. I'll be coming to the chat very soon. So let's now begin to peel the onion on credit, building credit wisely, gaining credit, one block at a time. That you've given us a very serious foundation. So now let's talk about how to actually build and manage credit
Mhm.
for immigrants or for anyone, immigrants, immigrant professionals, anyone starting fresh. It could be somebody out of school. It could be even someone like me. You are mid-career, almost to the end of your career. What are some of the steps to building good credit? It can be somebody who has just come 60 years, 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, or somebody who is already in the system. Can you please walk us through on the building blocks or first steps to building good credit?
Yeah. So what I'll say in that is you can start small. You always have to start small, but you must start smart. The capitalist system is very deceptive. So they use credit, of course, to you can use the credit as your advantage or as a disadvantage. So in a capitalist system, if you use it to your disadvantage, you're going to be at the poor end and you're going to be the one that is going to be paying all the time. But if you use it to your advantage, you can be able to amass a massive wealth with credit. So how do you start? Starting small, starting smart. If you're a student, it's easier to get a student credit card. So when on campus, you're going to have all those banks coming to, offer you credit cards. Take advantage of it, but please don't spend. Be very wise on how you're spending. If you're someone that is older, of course, the secure credit card is what you can also tap into to start building your credit, your reporting your rent. You want to use your credit to buy small essential stuff. not luxury. And I think that's where a lot of us fall prey to. We get the credit card and it's what, $10,000. So now we feel, oh, we have $10,000. And then we go and buy all the designer stuff. And I've sat with so many people, I realized that most of them are living off credit cards. So they can afford to buy certain things and they're living all large simply because they have a credit card. But they're forgetting that that credit card has to be paid. So you have to make sure that as you're starting this credit, you're starting small, you're starting smart, but you're being very responsible. You're buying not luxury stuff. You're keeping your credit utilization to below 30%. So the fact that you have $10,000 on the credit card doesn't mean you should use all $10,000. You should use a maximum of 30% of that card at any point in time. So you shouldn't go more above the 30% because once you start to do that, it starts to affect your credit. Your utilization starts to be affected. You also need to make sure you're paying your bills on time. Don't with there's a difference between your due date for your credit card. So most people say, okay, but my card is due on the 15th. I have a wiggle room till the 20th. Don't pay within that wiggle room. Make sure you're paying before the 15th. And that's how you're building trust, right? It's like if someone borrows money for you and they tell you, I'll bring it on the 12th, and they come and they bring it on the 10th, you're going to be excited, right? And the next time they come, you're like, okay, let me give them more, because I know I can trust this person. Remember, you're trying to build trust and credibility. So the fact that it's due on the 15th doesn't mean you should pay on the 15th. Try to pay before the 15th,
Mm.
so that you can be able to build that credit faster because there's algorithms that calculate all these things. So
Mhm.
once you pay on time, you start to get all these triggers
Mhm.
through the algorithm. So you want to make sure you're paying on time. Try to make sure also that if you're going to apply for credit cards, get the credit cards that give you cash back. And make sure that if you're using it, make sure that you're paying it off in full. So if you know you cannot afford something that is what, $6,000. I see people use their credit card to travel to Africa and they charge it. If you know you cannot pay that $6,000 within the next month before your next payment date is due, don't spend all the $6,000 on that card. Because if you don't pay it off, you're going to end up paying more for that 6,000. So try if you can to pay off your balances and then be able to be getting that cash back. For me, everything I do, I use a credit card, and then I just pay it off. So I get sometimes cash back. Sometimes a month I can make $2,000, $3,000 just from cash back from my some of my credit cards. So that's extra money, that goes into your pocket. So you want to make sure you're paying on time. You can also link your rent, your utilities and stuff sometimes to your credit card, so that helps them to be able to report. And of course, if it's a cashback credit card, whenever you pay your rent, you get cash back for paying your rent using those credit cards. So those are some of the
Mm.
ways that you can use to try to build those black, but start small, be responsible, and make sure that you're paying on time. Credit is not built overnight. You'd have to work, put some work in. It's built through, consistency. Once you're consistent, over time, you should be able to get that good credit.
Wow. So I'm sorry. That was a lot. Do you mind going over those points for us? Because
Yeah.
I got some pay your bills on time. Yeah, don't use the due date as your marker, but pay before the due date. Do you want to go over the tips or tools? Tips, yes.
Yes, if I remember the order I went in, I won't
Oh my
remember.
goodness.
I bet make sure that you're starting small and smart. If you're in college, students, make sure you take advantage of student credit cards. If you're not in college and you don't qualify for student credit cards, make sure you're doing like a secure credit card. Use small amounts. Don't use the credit card to overspend. You have to keep your credit utilization below 30%. So don't use the full amount, use less than 30% of the card, and also make sure you're paying on time, not waiting for your due date before you pay. Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. And then you said the thing about use credit cards that have the cash back
Yes.
and pay in full.
Yes.
Fantastic. This is great information. This is great information. Okay. Now, still doing the credit thing, credit credibility, trustworthiness. So I came here, and this is a scenario. I mean, I got carried away by the credit system, credit card. I used it to buy some things that I couldn't afford, and my credit score is really, really poor. And we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
How do I begin to work at it and improve this low credit score that I have because of misunderstanding, ignorance, and just misuse?
Yeah. Yeah. So what I want to say to your viewers is your credit mistakes don't define you. So if you've made mistakes with your credit, don't just sit there. It should not define you. But how you respond to those mistakes is what's going to define you. So if you're sitting and you're listening to me and your credit is not good, it's time to step up and do something about it. So the first thing you're going to do is to pull your free credit report. So you can go to Experian, you can go to now my brain just froze, but I have three key credit bureau, and I'm sure you guys know it. Experian, my mind froze.
It will come. If
It,
somebody knows it, put
yeah,
it in the chat.
yeah, so there are three credit bureaus. Interesting. I just helped a client yesterday to pull those reports. So yes, so there are three key credit bureaus that the system use to monitor your credit. Go to each one of those websites and pull your credit report. There's so many things on your credit report that some of them you will not recognize. There are people that sometimes might use your information to purchase stuff and you're not aware of. So you're thinking, what's wrong with my credit? Is being bad? Is it just because I missed one payment? No, someone else might have purchased stuff on your credit. So every individual must make sure that they are pulling that report at least once a year and go over everything on your credit report. So that's the first step you're going to do and take if your credit you want to repair your credit. So we'll pull those credit report and then look at everything on it to see what is yours and what is not yours. If there's anything on the report that you feel is not yours, you want to dispute it immediately so that you get it to be taken off your credit. So we dispute every inaccuracy on the credit. Then the third thing you're going to do is you can negotiate your credit. And a lot of people don't know that. These companies that you have credit with, they want money. So even if you owe them $10,000 and you can't afford, guess what? You can actually go and negotiate with them that, hey, things are not good for me right now. I can't afford to pay that 10,000 I owe you. Can we negotiate and let me pay 5,000? And instead of my $1,000 every month, let me pay $200 every month till I finish paying that 5,000. There are departments in these financial services companies that are ready to work with you on that. Remember, all these financial institutions, they have insurances. So if you don't pay that credit back, they're going to get it. It's a write-off, or insurance is going to pay them their money back. So you have to leverage the system. And a lot of us do not know that. Even your mortgage, if you cannot pay your mortgage, there's a way you can negotiate and let them put your mortgage on hold. And I'm saying this because I know with the government shutdown, a lot of people are in a tight corner. You can call your mortgage company and let them know that this is what I'm going through. I can't afford to pay my mortgage. At least give me another 3 or 4 months, for me to get a job, get my job back and start paying. The mistake we make is not calling them. If you do not call them and let them know what you're going through, they're going to report it to the credit bureau. But once you call them and they know that, okay, this is what she's going through, we are giving her what, 4 months, they're not going to report it to the credit bureau. So it's not going to affect your credit. So the third thing you're doing is negotiating and try to settle whatever bill you have with these credit company. So you start paying at least bit by bit, small, 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 and eventually you'll be able to clear it out. So those are the key things I would say. Pull the credit report, see which one you can dispute, speak with the financial service institution and see how best you can negotiate some of those debt and start paying it bit by bit till you're done paying for it.
Oh my goodness. So one day I'll call doctor. Dr. P, you are a doctor. Wow. The one thing I've written down is leverage the system.
Yes.
Put your credit, dispute any inaccuracies, negotiate. If you do this, you can, if you didn't know this, put it in the chat. But I have the comment for the system, the companies is Experian, Equifax, and
TransUnion.
TransUnion. I
Right.
knew there was somebody on this who could who could help me. So thank you, Chrissy, for putting it out there. I'm hello from Brent Martin. Hello, Dr. Himilde. Welcome. Eunice Texan, great information. She added Equifax. Nana Fosua, she was here last 2 weeks ago, listening in. Good information and learning. This is great information. This is truly, truly great, Himilde. Dr. P. Okay, so it's still one more question. I'm really enjoying and learning. One more question. So what are some of the, I think you've mentioned them, but what are some common credit traps people fall into and how can we avoid them? Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching us from. Sorry for the... Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry, there's a technical glitch here. I'm sorry. Hold on. I am sorry, I don't know what is going on with our technology today. Money, credit, and wealth. Because let's be honest. Sorry. Many of us, I don't know whether we've lost. Came to this country, whether you're immigrants.
Yeah, I think we're still here.
Are you still there?
Yes.
Hold on. Manage your finances. I know that they are, but many of us have a tough time doing that. I am sorry. I have to use something here. Okay. I'm sorry.
No.
Something. Himilde, go ahead.
It happens.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You're going live. You expect things like this to happen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think you asked about common credit traps that we find ourselves in. And I think it's like you put a kid in a candy store, right?
Yes.
So you come to America and some people are probably immigrants. They've never owned a car in Africa. They've never owned a house. And they come and they say, oh, you can, just apply for credit and you can drive whatever car you want, can buy any house you want. So I think that's very tempting. So we find ourselves in these traps a lot. So we end up buying to feel better. So that's one big trap. If you are getting credit because you want to obtain certain status, that's a big trap right there. Keeping up with the Joneses. That's really bad. That's one big thing. And also the second thing about the credit trap, I think, would be treating your credit like it's an income. Remember, it is not free money. So a lot of people treat their credit card or treating the credit like it's an income. It's not an income. It's a debt. So you need to make sure how you're using it. Also, I think another big trap is you're paying the minimum balance. So the fact that the company says, okay, you owe $5,000 on the card, your monthly premium, monthly payment you have to pay is like what, $100 a month or $50 a month. By paying those $50 a month, you're putting yourself in a really tight situation. Your debt is going to grow faster. Something we call in finance called compound interest. And Albert Einstein says it best. He says it's the eighth wonder of the world. He who knows it benefits from it massively. And he who does not know it is going to pay dearly for it. And a lot of immigrants find themselves in the trap of the credit trap of borrowing and paying the minimum on it. And because of that, your debt compounds over the years. Your student loan, the mortgage, the credit cards. There's a system and a strategy. Of course, if you want to know the strategy to pay your mortgage off in the shortest time, that's a consultation. That's not going to be free. But yes, but there's a strategy you can actually put in place, and that 30-year mortgage you have, you can be able to pay it off within the next 10 years by just paying a little extra on your amount. Of course, there's an amortization calculations that we have to do based on your personal mortgage, and we can tell you if you pay this extra every month, within the next 10 years, you're going to finish paying for that house. A lot of us do not know that, for example, you buy a house for 300,000, 30-year mortgage. By the time you're done paying that 30-year mortgage, you have paid probably 5 times more the cost of the house. So if you are able to not get yourself in that trap where you're just paying the minimum balance, and you're paying more than the minimum balance, you're going to take a longer time and your debt is going to compound and double, and it's going to cost you more to pay off that debt. So those will be the, I don't want to overwhelm the viewers, so I just keep it simple. So just make sure that you're not treating it as an income. Make sure you are not paying just the minimum balance. Make sure you're not taking credit just to update your status and show off. Those are some of the traps that we find ourselves in. And just one other trap that before I forget that is co-signing on loans. I tell people never co-sign for anyone. I know people say, oh, but it's my child. Sometimes it's my child. Hell to the no. Even if you are my child, I am not co-signing a loan for you. Go and sign your own loan.
For real?
I don't. I don't. Because especially if, oh, and let me take that back. If you know your child and you know the child is responsible, you can do it for the child. If you know the child is not responsible, I have cousins, I have nieces, god and kids that going to college and they want me to co-sign because now I'm the one that have the good credit and some little money. I tell them no. You know, co-signing is one of the biggest trap that a lot of us find ourselves in. Even my mother was, that she went and married this guy from Ghana and brought him in, and he decided to go to school, got her to co-sign, did his first degree, did his master's degree, and went and married somebody else. And because she co-signed, till if I had not come to help her to pay off that loan, she would still be paying for it now. So if you're co-signing for people, please make sure that you really trust that person. Because if that person messes up and they don't pay for the loan, they're going to come back and you are going to be liable to pay for that loan. And it's going to affect your credit. So co-signing is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. I know we have good hearts. We are children of God, but we have to be very, very careful who
Wow.
we co-sign for. It can be very dangerous. I've seen parents, I've worked with clients that, co-sign for their kids. They started going to college and the kid decided, I don't want to go to school anymore. I don't want to do school anymore. And they're just about now the loan is there, they have to start paying for it. And who's going to pay for it? The child doesn't have a job. So of course, you, the mother, is going to be responsible for that. So you have to be very careful. Trust the person before you sign for them.
If at all, trust, trust, trust. Wow, Himilde, Dr. P, keeping up with the Joneses. When you come here, you think you can use the credit, it's not an income. Thank you. Paying the minimum balance. And I didn't know that compound interest was the eighth wonder, but things do compound, right? And don't co-sign on loans. That is great. Okay, so now let's get to growing income and savings. No, because one paycheck, for most people, one paycheck can carry all the dreams, right? So let's shift and talk about income and growth. Many people rely on one source of income. How do we begin to think about multiple streams of income? After that, I want to ask you a question. Or maybe hold that thought. Let's start with, for most of us, is 9 to 5. You're working for somebody, you're depending on someone to give you a paycheck. So let's start with, how do you start growing income or savings? If you have some small, little, I'm speaking Ghanaian. If you have some little strategies on that, and then we'll talk about the multiple streams of income thing.
Yeah. So you're saying if you're 9 to 5, how can you start building
income, growth, savings,
First of all, I'll say add value to yourself. Because if you're currently working 9 to 5 and you can barely make ends meet, that's a no-no. You cannot live in the US of A and live hand to mouth. It's hell to the no. America is one of the richest country in the world. And it's one of the easiest place to become a millionaire here in the US. So there should be no one, especially we immigrants that have the work ethics, there should be no one that is living hand to mouth because there's so many opportunities that you can do. And when I say opportunity, it's not taking 2, 3, 4, 5 shifts. That's one of the worst thing you can do to increase your income. For especially those in the healthcare, they work in morning, evening, the nurses, they do 3, 4, 5 stages. That's the worst thing you can do in this capitalist system. Because the more money you make, the more taxes you pay if you are 9 to 5. So if you take 3, 4, 5 shifts, you're away from your children, you're tired, you're just giving your money to the government. Majority of that money goes into taxes. So I usually advise people don't even take that extra shift, but use that time to do something that is not connected to your 9 to 5 that brings you income. It could be sometimes just upgrading yourself. I know people, for example, I see a lot of people running into IT. I own a cybersecurity company, so I see that a lot. I bring people into IT, they get one certification, they get into the industry, and that's it. They don't upgrade themselves. So once there's a little shift, they lose their job. So if you're 9 to 5, the key thing I would say, get a side hustle that's going to bring you that extra income. Second thing, don't do too much overtime, because the more overtime you make, the more taxes you pay, the less money you're going to see in your pocket. So the fact that you're working more hours doesn't mean you're bringing in more income. It's actually, I know people that do 3, 4, 5 shifts that make less than somebody that does one shift. So it's for those 9 to 5, that's what I'd say. Get a side hustle and make sure you're upgrading yourself, and then make sure that, of course, you are networking. I know some of us feel all big. We like, I don't want to, excuse my language, kiss, whatever. I don't want to kowtow to people and stuff like that. Sister, brother, if you're in that workforce, there are times you have to kowtow so that they can know you, because you need your name to be mentioned in rooms that you're not in. And if
Exactly.
you come and you're all big and bad, I just come and do my work and I go, no one is going to see you. Nobody is going to recommend you. So make sure that you're putting in your best. We're not saying work till you drop, but put in your best and let people see what you're worth. So that's a way you can be able to increase your income if you're a 9 to 5. But the side hustle is the key.
Side hustle is the key.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can't live hand to mouth. Add value to yourself. Network. My current boss will say your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, throwing a lot of serious nuggets here that I'm not even sure where to go, and I'm learning a lot. So, like I said, many people rely on that one source of income. How can we begin to build or create wealth through multiple income streams?
Yeah. So I keep hammering back on the American being a capitalist system. In the capitalist system, the law favors business owners. So if you're not a business owner, you're not getting multiple streams of income, you're on the other side of the track. You are at the default. You are in the default stage. So if you're you're relying on one paycheck, first of all, that's a sin. It's a sin to rely on one source of income. The Bible says it. The Bible encourages us to have multiple streams of income. And even if you listen to the parable of the talents, the one that had one, he took it away from him and gave it to the one that had more. So you cannot have just one stream of income. You cannot rely on one paycheck. Remember, there was no empire. There's no empire that was built on one stream of income. So of course, you need to make sure that, of course, the key would be stop trading your time for money. If you want to be able to not rely on one paycheck, you have to stop trading your time for money. Your time is limited. So you can just do 24 hours in a day. So it means you can get paid for just 24 hours. And I don't think there's anybody that works 24 hours, 7 days a week. You won't be alive by now. So once you're trading your time for money and your money is not making money for you whilst you're asleep, Warren Buffett says what? You're going to work till you die. So you can start with what you already know. Turn your knowledge into whatever you're doing right now. You're probably a 9 to 5 person working. And I use a story of one of my clients, one of the people I mentor. When I met her, she had a good job, making $60,000 an hour. I don't know how some people can survive $60,000 an hour a year, but she made $60,000 a year, and she worked in DC for a company, traveling all around the world. And I met her. I said, "Don't you want more for yourself?" She was like, "Yes, I do." And of course, she started working with me. And I said, "Hey, there are two industries in the world that has the most millionaires: financial services and IT. So let's get you into IT." because of course financial services, people, finance, I'm not too savvy. So we got her into IT, and she got the certification, of course, and we got her a job with a company. And I was like, I hope you don't think you're going to stay there 9 to 5. America, we don't do 9 to 5. It's business ownership. So I said, you're going to go to that company and you're going to work your butts off and get known and get seen. Let them know that you're the all in all. So of course she went and she worked her butts off. She, got knowledge and she became a pro. So 1 year after, I told her, I said, tell those people you're leaving. She was like, oh my God, I'm being paid what, $170,000 a year. How can I leave that? I was like, don't limit your mindset. So she told them that she was leaving. She put in her resignation and they could not do without it. So the first week she left, they called her back that we need you. Things are falling apart. And she's like, okay, quickly call me. They want me back. They want me. I said, oh, relax. I said, tell them that you're going to come on as a consultant. So, of course, all this while we got her to register her company and stuff like that. So she went on as a consultant. So now she went from making $170,000 to consulting 2 hours every day, consulting for this company. And she gets paid close to $700 an hour for just consulting 2 hours a day in a week. So she goes in 4 days in a week, gets paid $700 an hour just to go in there and consult for them. So whatever you're currently doing, become an expert in that field and start to offer your service as a consultant on a consulting basis. So that's why I say add value. So 9 to 5, don't just be there. What do you currently have? And that's it. If you are a Christian, God asks him, he has what? The bread and the fish. What do we have? So what you have in your hands, how can you get that to multiply? So start leveraging your skills and turn your knowledge into consulting. You can do online teaching. I know so many people that are teachers. The other day, I was struggling to find someone to teach my daughter's maths. I couldn't find anyone. And there are so many Africans that I know that I'm a teacher. I'm at this. How are you leveraging that skills online? Start something online, maybe a couple of hours. You come in and you teach people maths, teach them some subjects and you charge them for your services. We have to stop. Immigrants were very good with, oh, I'm helping. She's in my church, so I'm helping. No, start to charge for your services. Nothing should be free. Nothing should be free. Even salvation is not free. The Bible says you have to work with it with fear, with what, fear and trembling. So even salvation is not free. So start to charge for your services. It could be books. A lot of us have a lot of knowledge. Now we can't find good books anymore. Every book has this LGBT whatever in and all kinds of silly things. We can't find real thing to read anymore. You know, so many things are changing. How can you maybe write a book and sell the book? Start selling small services. I remember there's another lady that I also mentor. She came from Ghana. And of course, here in America, people say, what, my husband is working. If I also work, daycare would take all my money. So she was at home taking care of the children. When I met her, I was like, girl, you had a master's degree in Ghana. You're not coming here to be a housewife. We're not letting that happen. So I said, what are you good at? What do you currently do? She was like, oh, in the morning I wake up, I take the kids to school, I come home, I clean the house, and that's it. I said, no, you're not doing that. I was like, you're gonna find a service out of what you currently do. You're waking up every day, you're taking your children to school. Do you know there are so many working mothers that have to leave early and cannot afford and take their children to school early because maybe I have a meeting and today I can't drop the kids off at school. I said, you're going to go to that school, you're going to network with the parents, and you're going to offer your services to pick up the children and drop them at school every morning. And that's how she started. Today, she owns three buses that picks up kids and drop them at school. And of course, we want to grow. So I eventually coaching her. I was like, you're going to take it a step further to those that do homeschooling. Homeschooling is beginning to get a big thing in America. So when you drop those kids that do the in-person schooling, connect with those that do in homeschooling. They are always traveling, taking the kids to these things. Now she uses the buses to take those kids on excursion. And last year, her revenue was $1.2 million. This is a mother that would have been sitting at home breastfeeding. And when she's going, she's taking her baby with her, right? So this is how you can leverage your situation. And this is America. Come on. This is America. Opportunity is here.
So when you're talking, I took my phone to text some people to join
Yeah.
because this information is so, so, so good.
Yeah.
Tell people about, before I get to my next question, tell people about your services that you provide. But one thing is, it's a sin to have one income. If you are sinning with one income, put it in the chat. This is serious business. This is serious business. Tell people about your services and we'll go to some more questions.
So of course, what I do is I help people make money. That's all we do. So from sitting with you, and I know some people say, what can I do? What can I do? So I sit with you and we deep dive and we find something in you that you can leverage. And I coach you through that process. I also help people set up companies. So if you want to be a business owner, you're a small business owner, you're struggling with growth and scaling your business, we can sit and help you with that. I help people strategize their retirement. A lot of us in the US, we come and we get the 401k, 403b. That's not what the wealthy are using for retirement. You know, so I sit with people and help them strategize and put the right retirement plans in place. So generally, we do a financial landscape. So helping people structure that financial roadmap where from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow, we help you fill the gap. So I'm just a financial coach. And of course, if you want to
Fantastic.
delve into IT side too, I can help you set up your company, but that's not of importance. My passion is financial services. Yeah.
Wow. Trade your time for money. It's a sin. That is really with me. It's a sin to have one income. But I think that for most of us immigrants, for most of us, we maybe we don't have the knowledge. And so speak to people in my age group, 50 plus, who, at this point, what can we even do? They're like, what can we even do? Um, I've sat in that company for 10, 15, 20 years. What can I do? How do I just speak to us?
So if you are seasoned, then you have an upper hand because now you have the experience and you can sell your experience to leverage that and to make some income. There are people that are actually in, and coaching is a big thing now. You know,
Yes.
somebody wants to come into your industry or they are in your industry and they're struggling. You can charge them what? $100, $200 here, sit down and then coach them from time to time. You know, for every session, probably they pay an amount and then, or they pay a monthly fee or a retainer and you coach them through. So you can be a coach. It's never too late to jump, to close your eyes and jump, take a leap of faith and jump. There's so many things you can do. You can start your own business. You know, there's so many businesses that are cropping up that people can make money off. So many business. And of course, sitting with individuals, you tap into what do they love to do, and what is their purpose, and tapping into that, you can be able to find them something that is trending currently that they can take advantage. I've had people that come into financial services that, hey, I want to run a financial service business. I've had people that are in their 60s. They go get all the licenses in place, and before you realize, they're making $500,000-$600,000 a year. But these were people that thought, oh, I'm about to retire.
Mhm.
So it's never too late, but the goal is not to stay and get one income. Guess what? One income is going to pay the bills. Two income is going to what give you a breathing space. But when you have three or more income, that's the real financial freedom. That's the
Yeah.
real financial freedom. Yeah.
So we shouldn't sit there and say, oh, well, I got this new job, it's paying me 200,000. It's not enough.
Listen, back in the day, there was something called slavery. People went to the plantation. So no matter how much money you are being paid, you're still on the plantation. So there are different calibers. Some people were, you are still on the plantation. So how do you leverage that plantation to your advantage? Is what you should be thinking about. So when you go and they say they're paying me $200,000, they're going to drain the blood out of you. That $200,000, taxes is going to take the majority of it. So at the end of the day, you are working your neck. I don't want to use the other word, but you are working some part of your body off for someone else to sit on Wall Street and enjoy it. So you have to be strategic here in the US. You have to be strategic. So it's not about how much they're paying you. Sometimes I tell people take the lower salary just to pay the bills and then start working on your own business. Here in the US, business ownership, the amount of write-offs that you can get, I don't pay for anything. We travel a lot as a family, but because I'm a business owner, every time I travel, it's a business expense and I'm writing it off at the end of the year. From my hair to my clothing, it's a business expense because I'm in financial services. I have to look good. So at the end of the year, who pays for it? Uncle Sam, right? So I don't pay all these things that people say, I pay so much in taxes. No, everything I do in life is paid for by my business and it's legal. So if you are not leveraging the American system to your advantage, you are doing yourself a lot of disservice. You can't be in US and not learn the system.
Yeah. Use the word shame on you. Shame on me. If you are not leveraging the system, shame on you. Shame, shame, shame on you. We've heard it's a sin. If you have only one stream of income, my goodness, I want to touch my head. I
Yeah.
want to take off my head. Yeah, it's a sin. It's a sin. And if you agree with that, give us a thumbs up. Oh my goodness, Dr. P. Whew, this is some good stuff. This is some good stuff. And I know that you've already talked about different ways that we can make income. You can, if there are some more, you can add that. You've talked about writing books. But let's also talk about some practical saving habits that can help us build that stability and financial confidence. And I know a lot of my audience is female. Buying of clothes. A friend of mine would say, your name is not sale. Buying of clothes. There's this much. We are all wearing white. You can't repeat. Can you talk to us, sister to sister, friend to friend, coach to coach, and expert to people that need help. And I need help.
So I always say savings is not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. So and I have been, part of that generation with the designer. Remember, some of us are from Africa. It's a mindset where we feel that if we wear certain kind of things, we feel like we belong. But it's all that mindset actually stemmed out from slavery time, where when the blacks were
Colonialism.
free, the only way they felt they could, be seen by the whites was if they wore expensive stuff. But that's a really bad thing to do. So we have to make sure that in other the habits we need to do is to make sure that the first thing you do is to pay yourself. So once you get that income, before you even pay the bills, you have to take a percentage for yourself and put it into something that is going to grow. So you don't pay the bills first, you pay yourself first. Usually for those that are not wealthy, usually we say do the 7-20-10 rule, where we know you don't have too much money, you are still in debt and stuff. So 70% of your income is going to go towards living, paying your rent, your mortgage, and all of those things. 20% we say put it for savings. So put it in some kind of investment that is going to grow over the years. And then 10% is for charity. Some people believe they have to do 10% of their income. But one thing you should know, the 10% that the Bible is talking about is not on the gross. It's after you have paid all the bills and you've saved your 20%, whatever is left, 10% of that is what you're supposed to give to tithe. That's supposed to be the real definition. So of course you can do 10% for charity. But once you get wealthy, majority of your income is going into investing and then charity. Because most of these guys have paid off. They've paid off their homes, their cars, and stuff like that. So if you're not yet wealthy, you're going to do the 7-20-10 rule. 70% of your income might probably go into your living expenses, taking care of yourself and the children. 20% should be invested or saved. And then 10% you can give to charity. So those people back home that are calling you, my school fees and stuff, if you don't have the 10%, you don't have it. But if you have not put that 20% of your income away, don't give money to any other person, not even the tithe. If you could not afford, I'm saying that, and I know my pastor is on, he's listening, and I say this in church all the time when I preach, you come first for the tithe. Because remember, if you can't pay your rent tomorrow, how many churches will come and pay your rent for you? Not a lot. We want to support the church. That's why we have to go out and make a lot of money so that we can support the church. But if you are struggling and you can hardly put food on the table, don't deprive yourself and take all your money and go and give it to the church. Please don't do that. So instead of that 10%, you can probably do 2%, depending on how much. But usually the rule for those that are not too wealthy is 70, 20, 10, 70 to living. You also want to automate your savings. So I know it's difficult for people to save. So have it automatic where once the salary enters your bank account, that 20% automatically goes into an account that you don't have access to, all the time, so automatically that savings is going away. Um, Also make sure you're using Warren Buffett's rule of money. Warren Buffett says there are two rules to money. Rule number one, never lose money. Rule number two, never forget rule number one. So as you are saving, make sure that wherever you're keeping your money, you are never losing money. So I see people with the 401k, the market goes up, they make money, the next minute they lose money. How are you going to get ahead financially if each time you're losing money? And that's why Warren Buffett says, and that's why the wealthy don't use some of these vehicles because it doesn't get them to the financial stability they want. So make sure wherever you're saving your money or keeping your money, you are never going to lose the money that is in those vehicles. So make sure automate your savings, make sure you never lose your money, and make sure that you're speaking with a qualified financial professional. A lot of us, if I ask people right now, do you have a financial professional that you consult with before you buy that house, before you open that bank account, before you select your retirement plan at work? I'm sure a lot of people don't. But you need to have a financial professional on call before you make any financial decision. Run it past them. That's one key thing I'll say. But you have to make sure that as you're saving, you're not just saving, because remember, you cannot save your way to wealth. You invest your way to wealth. So don't just take the money and keep it in an account. 1%. You're keeping it in a savings account, they're giving you 1%, 2%. You're losing the value of your money. There are accounts out there that can give you 20%, 30%. So look for places where you can invest that money so that that money can be growing faster for you. So that's what I would say about saving habits. 7-20-10, automate your savings, make sure you never lose money. And of course, get a financial professional to help you and invest instead of just saving.
Okay, great. Let me just read some of the comments. Super powerful information. One income is a sin. Wow. Great exposure. Very true. There's a comment about, I disagree with the tithe and charity statement. I think that when it comes to the tithe, it's a matter of the heart and what you believe and what is working for you. For some, 10% grows, some is, yeah. So have that conviction, what you believe in, and work on that, because that is very much tied into your belief and your relationship with God, if I may use that word. Take the lower income in order to start your business. Very true. I quit a 9-to-5 job to work filling jobs as home health aide. That allowed me to start and build my language services business. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Give us, I know some people just joined and some are hopping in. So if we have a few minutes, if we can just hop on a few of the comments here and there, like what is credit and what is wealth. I would like you to say that again because that was very important. And then you can tie that into, I have a question about the growing savings and income. What are some examples of other income sources immigrants can explore, young people can explore with limited time and resources? Did you get that question?
That's a packed question. So I think you said I should explain what is
so, yeah, say that. Credit. What is credit? Just give everyone the base, just for those who are just joining us. And then wealth. Yeah, and then I'll ask that my third question. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think from the beginning we said what credit is like your financial passport. So how you build trust is you telling these financial institutions that they can trust you. So it's building your reputation in the financial service industry. So building your reputation with the financial services companies. So credit is simply how the banks and the financial institutions measure how responsible you are with handling opportunity. So it's trust, responsibility. It's your financial passport. Wealth is of course, you said what wealth. Wealth is what not just what you own, but wealth is actually the impact that you're making. So if you have money and your money is not going to go like 5, 6 generations down, that's not wealth. Wealth is when the assets you have can benefit many, many generations after you. Not just your children, not just your grandchildren, but it goes beyond your grandchildren. And I think now the yardstick that most people are using is sixth generation, because I said we're following the Rockefellers. So currently the Rockefellers, their wealth is now at 6 generations down, and it's going to go many, many more generations. So if your wealth, if your money is enough for just you at home and then probably pass on to your children, that's not money. That's not wealth. It's money. It will come and go. But wealth, it stays for a longer time and it passes on many generations to come. So what was the other question?
Yeah. So let me just pause. Six. So passing down the wealth to sixth generation. Wow. So don't be making noise and shouting and think that your small money is all wealth yet. Yeah. Impact,
Yeah.
I like that. So credit is that trustworthiness and responsibility, and then wealth is impact. How you're asleep, but your wealth is working for you, right? Something like that. Okay, great. Then I want you to give examples on how immigrants, young professionals, if you have examples of other income sources. I know you've said some, but if you have a little bit more that you can share with us.
Income sources. I would say the one key thing, the first thing you should do if you're looking is build that network. You're going to get into certain circles where there are things that you never thought exist, and you can be able to tap into that and make extra income out of it. There are times people call me to travel or just to come and sit down and listen to people talk or just to speak. You know, if you are in certain network and they know what you have, they're like, oh, the last time I spoke to this lady, her knowledge on this topic was really good. I know this company that, every year we have this conference. You can come and speak. Sometimes you stand on those stage and speak for less than 30 minutes to an hour. You walk away sometimes $40,000, $50,000, just for speaking engagement. And how many of us can speak on certain information? A lot of us have knowledge. Sometimes the average speaking right now is between $5,000 and $10,000. So for those at the low income and low, like just starting out to do speaking engagement, when companies hire you, sometimes to pay $5,000, $10,000 just to go and speak. Sometimes an hour, 30 minutes, or 2 hours, depending. But I know people that they stand on your stage and speak, and for 1 hour you have to pay them $100,000. So you can start from that networking. How can you get into the right circle? And I know a lot of us immigrants, we come to the US and it's like we are in the US, but we are still in Africa. We go and fuse ourselves right back into the Ghanaian network. You go to Ghana church, you go to everywhere you go, Ghana, Ghana, Ghana. You go to college, your friends are all Africans. You have to move out. I have had a huge break in my career because I moved out of my immigrant community. Because remember, I was not born here. So the system, most of the system I did not know. So I had to get in certain circles to know the hidden secrets of the US. And I leveraged that. Working on Wall Street, it was from somebody I knew in college. And, I used to go and braid her hair. And that's how I got to meet the family. And he was like, they're taking internship, they're doing this, blah, blah, blah. Before you realize, I was in there. White woman, she loved to braid her hair. The hair would not stick, but I'll braid and I'll put rubber band at the end. It looked ugly, but she loved it. But I just wanted her friendship, right? So I got into those network. Today, I'm in a network where I think the average person in my network makes close to $25 million. And I'm looking to get into a network where they're billions. Of course, I've been mentored by people that are billionaires, and I want to stay in some of those networks, but you have to get into the right network, and you'll be able to tap into some of the things they're doing. Renting your apartment. I remember when I joined my husband in the US, he had a 7 bedroom house that he was living in. I was like, I'm not living in this 7 bedroom house. It's just the two of us. We're going to live downstairs and we're going to fix it up into multi-level apartments and rent it out. So gone are the days when you buy one big house and it's just you in there. Leverage renting out some of those rooms. Of course, you need to make it in such a way where your side is safe and people don't have access to you. but you can start by renting some of those rooms in your house to bring in income. Sometimes the kids go out for to college, their rooms are just there. Clear that room and rent it out to someone, because sometimes there are university in where you live. Kids are looking for somewhere to stay. Your daughter has also decided to go out of state. She's also renting someone else's apartment. Clear her room and rent it out to someone else and make some money off that. So that's another thing you can do. So I'm just throwing easy things that you can start doing that doesn't require you to have a huge income. You can also do reselling or flipping items online. That's also another thing. Most of the things you see on Amazon that you're purchasing, that's not the real cost. They probably bought it for $1 and they're selling it to you for what? $20, $30. So there are wholesale websites that you can actually go to and buy these products, and these wholesalers would automatically put it on your Amazon page. So of course you're going to set up your Amazon marketplace and they'll automatically put those things on Amazon, and each time somebody buys it, you get paid. So of course you paid $1 for it, you're selling it $20 on Amazon, and people are going to buy. So you can do reselling or flipping stuff and items on now. Now I see a lot of people doing TikTok shops and stuff like that. All of those things are making them a lot of money. How can you turn your hobby into a hustle? Some people are good with doing hair. Now to braid the other time I went to braid my daughter hair, it was like 500, almost $600 just to put that simple, small boho braids. I was so angry. But I just met this other young girl that is in college and I'm trying to mentor her. She does hair. Whenever she does my daughter's hair, she charges $90. Of course, I'll give her 150 because it's better than the $500, right? But that's, you know, a side thing you can start doing. Some people are really good in the kitchen with cooking. I travel a lot. I used to love cooking, but I don't have the time. So I buy food. But most of the food I buy these days is not nice because people are not putting their all in the food. So now I have to cook. So if you are good with cooking, I'm good. I love okra soup. If anybody that I can sell my birthright for banku and okra soup. So imagine you can cook. Now you start to make those small pans, and then you go to church. Hey, I cook. A lot of people are struggling doing night and working and having to come home and cook and clean in the kitchen. Sometimes it's cleaning, going to people's houses and cleaning for them. Nothing, money is green, oh. So whether you clean floor to make it or you sit there and put tie on your neck and choke yourself to death, it's still green money. So you can go and do cleaning at homes. I have a lady that comes to my house to clean. So that's money she's also making. So you can do cleaning. I'm just mentioning little things you can do. You can do affiliate marketing. Remember, back in the day, people would do TV adverts. These companies would do adverts on TV and stuff like that. Now people are not watching TV. We are on social media, we are on Netflix and stuff like that. So it's difficult for them to get in front of some of their clients. So affiliate marketing is simply recommending some of these companies' products to other people. And whenever they buy, these companies will pay you. I know people that turn around millions of dollars just from affiliate marketing. So that's one thing you should also do. Notary services. It's easy to get a notary license. Everybody at a point in time will need someone to notarize something for them. Put a stamp on it. It's what, $10, but that's something you can start doing. AI is another big thing. How can you learn this AI and leverage it to help small businesses or help individuals do certain things? There's so many opportunities that you can start that does not require you to have a huge sum of money. I know a lot of people that say sales. I'm scared of sales. I'm scared of skills. I was mentored by a Jewish guy a couple of years ago when I was on Wall Street. And he was like, why is it that you Africans, whenever we talk about sales, you are running away? I was like, growing up, when you start to sell things, people run away from, from you in Africa. He was like, that's a really bad mindset. He was like, today, and he was telling me, and of course I did my research, the Jewish community is one of the wealthiest in the US today. And do you know what makes them wealthy? Is sales. Is sales. Majority of their children, right from childbirth, they start to inculcate selling into their mind. So a lot of them got their wealth from the insurance industry, selling insurance. Here you go and tell somebody, go and sell insurance. Oh, go and do sales. Ah, they're running away. You don't know. But sales, you can make money just like that. It's one of the few industries where you can actually be making residual income, where you've sold stuff in the past and constantly you're being paid residual income for those things you've sold. So affiliate marketing and sales is another area you can go into that does not require you to have too much money. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting one certification or get some coaching, and then you start. So you don't have to leave your 9 to 5, let that pay the bills, but your 5 to 9 should be you building your dream. So use 9 to 5 to build someone else's dream, and then use your 5 to 9 to build your dreams and leave a legacy for your family. So those are just a few tips on income.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa. I just want to, this is, I will go back and listen to it because you dropped a lot of nuggets. But I just want you to, if you don't mind, just hammer a little bit, underscore the networking, building your networks. Just if you can give 1, 2, 3 practical ways of doing it. How do you, somebody will say, how do I start? Where do I start? Right.
You have to be intentional. It's not just showing up. Some of us are at every funeral. We're at every naming ceremony. We are every. That's your time. It's very important.
Hey,
Join.
Himilde, Dr. P, today, you're not joking
I'm
with
being
me
very
at all.
controversial. The person is dead and gone. All they need is my money, right? So of course, I'll just pop in a few minutes, hug, kiss, do my donation, and go. I'm not. People will be at funerals from morning to evening. It can't happen. And we see that in Africa a lot, where people go to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then they go to pray to God to help them and build them wealth. No. So it's good. Funeral is popping. And I say I go into other culture as well. And there white people, you don't go to their funeral and stay morning to evening. You just go, I'm sorry, and then put your little flower there, give them your little card, and that's it. You're gone, right? But it's no more about beating drum, crying, you eating, and don't spend too much of your time there. Networking events. There are a lot of, every area has what we call a chamber of commerce. So every area has a chamber of commerce. Join your local chamber of commerce. You're going to meet people that, have a different mindset. That's a good network to be in. So now people know what you do, people know who you are. That's one. Join associations that can benefit you. I know I'm an immigrant. We have what? So many association is just a bunch of women or men joined together and gossip. Get out of those networking places. It's not the right place for you. There's some people, their networking is what something ladies of what. When you go to New York, you see a lot of those networking group where every day they are taking. You pay monthly or annual fees and stuff like that just to go and buy cloth and go to funerals or go and party. Get out of those networking group. Your local chamber of commerce. Join if you are in the IT field. There are Asaka, there's CompTIA, there's so many of these certification bodies that have associations. Join those associations and go to their events. Um, if you are in the healthcare industry, of course, you can also join that. You also want to make friends outside your race. Get out of the immigrants. I'm not saying leave your immigrant. I'm passionate about my immigrant community. I do a lot in the immigrant community, but I step out of the community and go into other race, the Jewish race. I do the white race, Hispanic. It's interesting. The Hispanic people, and I was reading the census that was done in 20, I've forgotten what year it was, but they did a census and they looked at income. And when it came to education, immigrants were the most educated. But when it came to wealth, we were at the bottom. Even the Hispanic had more money than we had. So I was like, okay. And these guys, their work ethics is off the hook. So of course, go into some of those associations. They even have Hispanic networking events that you can go to. So for starters, especially if you don't have money to pay some of these high membership fee, you want to start with your local chamber of commerce. You want to start with your certification bodies that you currently have certification with, and go to some of their events and let people see you. Leverage social media. That's the new it. Back in the day, it was what? Who you knew, that could get you ahead, right? We're moving into an era of who knows you is what's going to get you to be wealthy. So if you're
Mm.
hiding in the background and you're not bringing yourself out and networking with the right people, a couple of years from now, you're going to be relegated to the background. So we're moving out of that era of who do you know? Who do you know that can help push you and mention your name in rooms to now who knows you? How have you built your brand to stand out there for people to seek you and run after you? I've mentored people that have, they've been able to build a solid brand on social media. They haven't even started any income yet, and you get corporations sometimes to reach out to them to come and leverage some of their services. And that's how they're able to start building their income. So it's not about having the money now, but start and those networking and branding yourself. And that's how it's going to bring you into certain areas where you can be able to leverage your skills, who you are and what you know, and be able to make some money and build wealth.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Can you, so those joining us, please show some love to Dr. P. This is Gustav. Somebody said, subject matter expert. You are very knowledgeable. Thank you for sharing. Gustav, Gustav, Gustav. I could listen to you all day. Okay, we are getting ready to land the plane. Thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. Thank you, everyone who has joined us today. And if you are not already subscribed, please subscribe. And if you've subscribed and you've been watching our sessions, thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for subscribing. And please, this is information we don't need to sleep on or sit on. Once we are done, it will be on YouTube. Please forward it to friends. This is for children, for adults, for those retiring, across the board, for immigrants, for those in the system who were born here. This is great information that Dr. P is giving to us for free. And I'm so, so, so grateful. So let's talk a little bit. We have two more questions and then we would land the plane. Let's talk about mindset and legacy, mindset shift. You have dropped a lot of bombs today, a lot of nuggets, serious nuggets about how do you spend your time. Sometimes you go and sit at an event the whole day. Do you need to do all that? No, right? But help us with some mindset shift, how we can move from surviving to truly making that impact, building the world for generation to generation to generation to generation to that sixth generation.
Yeah. I think when it comes to mindset, and since we're talking to immigrants, most immigrants have an issue with mindset. And it's not necessarily us, it's the environment we grew up in. Some of us grew up in Africa where we saw scarcity, we saw lack, poverty. That is a mental health issue. So you grow up and you are capped. You grow up and you get to a job and they're paying you 150,000. You're like, oh my God. You've limited yourself. It's the mindset thing. So mindset is very important. And I spoke about how the Jewish people get their kids' mindset up to sales. And so those guys can sell anything and make money out of it. But we need to get out of that survival mode and get into the wealth building mindset. We need to stop thinking everything is a scam. Poverty is poor people. When you bring them opportunity, the first thing they'll say is a scam. The wealthy, you bring them opportunity and they're looking at it to see how can I take advantage of this. But mindset, they bring you everything. Oh, it's a scam. Everything is a scam. You have to get out of that mindset and start to do your research and start to look into things. Not everything is a scam. Not everything is a scam. And I think recently something came and it was what was a scooter business. And I told everybody right from the word that this thing was not right. And I had people closing their retirement plans and putting it in this scooter business. And it was a scam for real. So we are not looking at information properly. We're just jumping into things. We want quick money. And that mindset, running after that quick money, it can get you into trouble. So we're going to get away from the scarcity mindset that some of us are upbringing put us in. We should start thinking when you see something. And one thing I tell people, I said, never let your children know that you're struggling financially. Because right there, you are limiting them that, oh, my grandmother didn't have anything, my mother didn't have anything. If I am able to make a little bit, I've done something. Don't let them have that poverty mindset in them. We should stop saying if your kids come and ask you for something and you can't afford it, don't say, I can't afford it. Your mindset should be, how can I get it? So don't say I can't afford this right now. You think money grows on trees and stuff. You start to build that money mindset in the kids, and that's a negative mindset. So instead of saying I can't afford it, say, hey, what can I do to make some income to get this thing? Where can I get income to be able to pay for this? So your goal or your mindset should be looking for the money to get it, not settling and say, oh, it's beyond me, I can't afford it, and just letting it go. So we're getting out of that scarcity mindset. We're getting out of that everything is a scam mindset. We're getting out of that, and of course, people are going to hit me hard on that. That religion mindset. Religion has been one of the key things that has held Africa back because we don't practice it properly. We've turned religion into it's like it's a thing that I don't want to use white or black, but it was a way the slave and the white people used, it's what they used to mess with our mindset. So you have to believe in God, which I do believe in. You have to have a relationship with God. You have to read your Bible and follow your Bible. But there are certain things that you should not tie yourself to. I know people that tie themselves to the Bible and religion so much that there are certain things that they feel manna is going to fall from heaven. Manna is not going to fall from heaven. If you do not take a step and put in the effort, I'm here today talking. I'm sure majority of the people, this is just going to be another session where they're going to click off and nothing else is going to be done. But the few people are going to sit up and say, I need to change certain things. That's the mindset, the winning mindset. So those are the things that we can do. But coming from Africa already, your mindset is messed up. So you have to read a lot of books, get exposure. Don't just sit and just go to but I asked the other day, I asked a lot of people in the immigrants in my church, like, how do you spend your spare time? Oh, I go to baby shower, I go to funeral. And some people said I go to the pub, the nightclub, and stuff like that. And I said, do you ever go to Broadway, watch a Broadway show? Do you do stuff like that? Do you go and listen to a jazz concert? So some of these things, you see it in life in a different way. I know it sounds like abstract, but getting out of that African entertainment thing can get you into certain and groups or certain things that can help shift your mindset. And you also want to be in a group that you are the least in regards to income. So I know that, and of course, I say there are certain grades of people. There are certain people I don't hang with. There's the poor mindset. You don't want to have that poor mindset. The poor mindset people, whenever you hang with them, the only thing you're going to hear them talk about, things are too expensive. Oh, Donald Trump did this. That's the poor mindset. Don't hang around those people. They are going to frustrate you, and then you're going to get depressed if you're in that. And of course, we have the middle class mindset, where all they talk about is designer stuff. Hey, I make this, I buy this. Have you seen me wear this? You don't want to be in that mindset either. Then there's the wealthy mindset. That's where you want to go to, where you're looking at how can I multiply my income? What business can I get into? You start to get into those groups where people are there to pull you up. Middle class, what are they doing? They're competing. Hey, I have the best car, I have the biggest house. But when you get to the wealthy and you start to hang with those wealthy people, you hardly see them talk about the wealth they have. They're actually looking at how can I help you? What are you into? How can I mentor you? How can I invest into your business? That's the kind of people you want to hang around because they have a different mindset. So when I'm sitting and I'm listening to people, and sometimes you don't have to be with these millionaires. You can go on YouTube and sometimes listen to some of their things. You can read books that can shift your mindset. The power of thinking big, think and grow rich. Robert Kiyosaki has a lot of books about mindset shift. Napoleon Hill, all of these books, you can read them and get a mindset shift. There's so many things, of course, I didn't know about that from reading. I was like, oh, this is possible. And you implement it and it becomes a money-making venture. So our mindset, we have to move out of that scarcity, survival kind of mindset and start to get the wealth mindset, start to get into the mindset that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You know, you can do it. Challenge yourself. Find a mentor that can help pull you up and advise you and get you to where you want to go. Don't just say the no, do the normal things before you realize you are 60, 65. Your life is over. You've done nothing substantial, So we have to have a purpose on this earth. And by shifting your mindset, by thinking differently, stop that African mindset. Stop the African mindset if you want to grow. There's nothing wrong with being African. I think Africans are one of the hardest working people you can ever find. And if you are an African, you have that African, that hard working thing, all you're looking for is an opportunity. If you add those two together, you can really succeed. But you have to work on that mindset of I cannot do it. This is too much. Oh, that one day, if somebody gets a little money, it means they did something fraudulent. That's why they got money and stuff like that. You're not going to even go to them and say, "Oh, what did you do to get the money?" And for those that are able to get a little money, you too, when people come to you and ask you, what did you do to get the money? Be honest and let them know. I've sat with people that they'll say, oh, it is God. I know it is God, but what did you do to get it? And it's, oh, you just have to keep trusting in God. Nobody wants to show you what they did exactly, so we have to stop that mindset. Be able to share your knowledge because you can never tell who you are going to pull up that is going to push you up. And I use that all the time. There was a lady that I mentor and I brought into the tech space. And of course, it got to a point, she started making more money than I was making in tech. But it was a good thing because I love to see people succeed. But then there was a contract that I was trying to bid on, and I had actually lost track of when to put in the bid. But guess what? She was the one that was going to approve that project. I didn't even know. And she was like, you haven't submitted your bid yet. You haven't submitted. When is the deadline? She was like, it's this afternoon. So quickly, I was able to submit my bid. And guess what? That was one of the biggest contracts I've ever got with the government. So, of course, I make a lot more than her. But at a point in time, she was making more than I was making. So I could have said, say, oh, I brought you into the industry and stuff like that. But you can never tell. You push people up, they get there and they pull you up, and sometimes you get higher than they are. So let's stop sitting on our knowledge and stop hiding things as if to say I'm the only person that wants to have money so that everybody can come and be begging me for money. That's a bad mindset, and we have to get out of that. Yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. But even if you're 65 or 70, I know you said earlier, it's not too late.
No.
In fact, you're an expert, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want people to walk away that it's never, you said it and I'm repeating it, it's never too late. You can start now, you can start today.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Somebody said, change your mindset, change from I don't to and I don't, I can to how can I? There's
Yeah.
another comment from Genevieve said, I have just moved to a new location. Thanks for the reminder to check out the local chamber of commerce. Oh, you have said a lot. Move out of that scarcity mindset. And the immigrants here, people, not everyone is from Africa. If you're coming from maybe a lower income as compared to the United States, sometimes that mindset, that poverty mindset, we carry it with us. And Dr. P is telling all of us, put that mindset away. Put in, you're right, everything is a scam. Everything is a scam. Somebody's doing well, everything is a scam. No, do your research and see what you can jump on. Okay, read lots of books. Now, that's the final question. How can we build generational wealth that reflects our values and supports our families here? And for those who are immigrants, I know that people who are immigrants watching us, you may have families at home in your country of origin that whether it's Latin America, whether it's Africa, whether it's Asia that you are supporting. So how can we build that generational wealth? Just add one final word of advice as we finally land this plane.
Yeah. So I always say generational wealth is not just passing down money, but
Hmm.
it's also passing down the mindset. So we spoke about this mindset. Just like you pass down money many generations, you have to pass down mindset many generations. And that's part of the generational wealth building. Because you can make all the money. If your kids do not know how to manage that, or even the grandkids or the kid and people after generations, that money is going to vanish. And I'm always using the Rockefellers because, I followed their wealth building strategy and I help a lot of my clients with that. They from the been and a lot of my wealthy clients, we have a quarterly meeting with the family. So, as their financial strategists, I'm meeting with the whole family. So, the father is there, the mother is there, all the kids are there, sometimes grandmother, aunties, uncle, and we are having family wealth building meetings. So, we're in those meetings, we're talking about the assets they have. Hey, James, you're not doing too well in school right now. If you want to be part of this, you have to step it up a little bit. This is the wealth we are passing on over to you. This is what you have to do. We are doing financial literacy training for these families. You know, that's how that's how the big boys are doing. And that's how you can pass on that generational wealth to the children. You have to teach the children how money works, how you can protect the money that you have, how they can multiply the money that you're making. Because you're going to be dead and gone someday. You might put things in place that might go many generations after, but by they knowing these strategies, your children will pass it on to their children. They would also keep passing it on. So that's what I'll say about generational wealth. You also have to make sure you're buying assets and not liability. Assets and not liability. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to buy a home. Oh, I have the bank has given me what 500,000 to get a mortgage. The fact that they're giving you 500,000 doesn't mean go and buy a house for 500,000, because now you're trapping yourself into something. And a lot of people think that, oh, I own a house, equity in the house. The truth is, if you do not have that house is not bringing you money every month, that's not an asset, it's a
Mm,
liability.
mm,
So, unless you are probably renting some of the rooms out or you have a multi-purpose building that is bringing you income, your primary home is usually a liability for a very long time. So that's why I always advise, don't go and get the 500,000 home. Buy maybe if the bank is giving you 500,000, take 200,000 and buy a house. Live in that house for a while. Build the extra income that you would have been paying mortgage with. Let that start to grow for you. And when it grows, then what? You go and buy another house. Now the bank knows that hey, I gave them 500,000. They were not greedy. They took just 200. So I can trust them with another 1 million.
mm,
So now you're going to buy another house, probably a little bit bigger, a little bit more expensive. And now that 200,000 house now becomes a property, a rental property for you that you're starting to make money off of, out of. So when we're talking about generational wealth, please focus on assets. And assets could be in the form of land, real estate, insurance. That's one thing we run away from, especially immigrants. When we hear insurance, we say, oh, you are going to die and you take my money. What a lot of people don't know is most of the wealthy people you see today, they say this person is worth blah, blah, blah billions. Most of those are in insurance. So insurance is one of the key ways you can build some massive wealth and pass on generational wealth. So insurance, and of course, you need the right kind of insurance. It's not just any insurance. Of course, we have the insurance for the informed and the insurance for the not so informed. Most of the insurance you see advertised is the ones for the not so informed. So if you want the insurance for the informed, of course, you can reach out to me and I can run a few things past you as well. So land, real estate, insurance, education could also be something you're passing on to the children. Business ownership. You need to make sure that you're building a business. Ownership, owning something. If you don't have something you own, you can't pass anything on. Your 401k or your nursing certificate, your doctor's certificate, you can't pass it to your children. So no matter how much education you have in here, once you die, it's gone. But what do you have that you can transfer that they can also use and transfer, to their children? So those are some of the things you can be looking to put in that portfolio to build those generational wealth. Ownership is something you want to have. Have something you own that you can pass down to the children. And as you have all these things, you want to put a document in place that can pass that legacy on. So a will and a trust, not just a will, but make sure you have a will plus a trust. If you do not have a will and a trust here in the US, everything you own belongs to the state. So if you should pass away today, your assets or your money is not automatically going to go to your children. It automatically goes to your state. And the state is going to decide how your money is going to be dispersed. And remember, what they're going to do is pay off your debt first. And if anything is left over, then the children would have to go to court to get it. So as you're talking about generational wealth and building wealth, If you do not protect what you are building, Uncle Sam is there with his glasses on his nose, ringing the bell, waiting to take it all away from you. So, generational wealth is a whole strategy that you need to sit and put in place. And that's one of the things that I do. So, I guess for coming on today, if you reach out to me, just mention I saw your Marians and you get our services for free. We can sit with you and put a financial need plan in place for you, so that you know exactly what you have now and where you want to go to and help build that financial stability in your family. So because of Marian, I'll let my team work with some of you for free to help you with your finances. So your credit is bad and stuff like that. We can work with you and help you with all of that. Yeah.
So how do they reach you? Should they just reach me and then I will connect them to you, or do you have some information
Yeah.
that you
So
want to?
my number is 443 314
Okay, I think that if you are interested in because this is going to go on YouTube, if you are interested, please put interested and we'll reach out to you. We'll give you I believe that there's even we'll put something in the chat, the comment section, the description, and show you how we can connect with Himilde. Dr. P. What an amazing! Can we put our hands together? But can you put emojis, some thank yous in the thing? What an amazing session we have had. Wonderful, practical, strategic, name it. Thank you so much, Dr. P. Thank you for breaking things so clearly and giving us hope that we can take control of our financial future. Credit is that credibility, trustworthiness, responsibility. Wealth is impact. Wealth is impact. It's not that small income that comes and goes. Oh, what an amazing time. To everyone watching, remember, like she said, wealth isn't built overnight, but it starts with one decision to learn, to act, and to stay consistent. She also said, if you have one income, it's a sin. It's a sin. You have a lot of experience. You have a lot in your hands that you can do to leverage more income, leverage the system, understand the system. Please, I can't even begin to explain. I took more than 4 pages of notes. Get out of that scarcity mindset that everything is a scam. Everything is not a scam. Teach your family, your children, your next of kin how to protect that financial literacy so that the wealth continues from one generation to another to the 6th generation. I'd love to hear your takeaway. Thank you so much. Put your takeaway in. What did you learn today? What are you going to, beyond what you learned, what are you going to take action on? And if this conversation has been so valuable to you and you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. And don't only subscribe, but those who have subscribed, thank you. But share it with a friend. Share it with people you know, the young adults in your life, those who are about to from credit to wealth, build your dream. Together, we are breaking through one conversation at a time. Dr. P, what can I even say? Thank you. I hope you come again to speak on generational wealth. And I would really love for you to come to share your story, where you started, your transformation story, so that someone else is encouraged and somebody else can make the next move to build their dream and make an impact, most importantly, so that all of us can fulfill our purpose and make an impact on this earth that we are renting for now. Somebody said a lot. Thank you so much, Dr. P. And again, if you'd want to connect with Dr. P, we will put a form or something in the description when we are done. So visit Breaking Through Immigrant Voices and then connect with us and we would send you her way. What can I say? I'm so glad I met you that day at the bank and you were so friendly and here we are today. Thank you, Dr.
Networking. You see networking?
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Dr. Pointer, Hemilde Hardy Pointer. Thank you so much. Thank you. The chat is blowing. Thank you so much. And we will connect and I'm going to connect with you. So thank you. And everyone, once again, thank you so much for watching us. And we will see you next week. We are coming back Next week, we have two people, Susan Saki from the UK, and Henita Bianca Gans. November is Career Development Month, and so we are going to focus in on career development. So please join us same time, same platform, and we'll see you again. Thank you all. Bye for now.